It's 2023. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Get to Know Them. I am so excited to have you here with me. Um, let's make this the best year. We're going upwards. There's nowhere to go but up from here. I'm really excited to introduce my guest to you today. Sam the Plumber, you guys. He is an old friend of mine. He is so positive and wonderful. He is just, I can't think of a better person to kick off the year with. I'm going to introduce him in just a moment. But before I do that, I want to once again thank our sponsor, Brenda Badome, for these lovely clothes that I have on today. This is a beautiful look. I'm so excited. I'm knocking my whole set around today. This is a beautiful jersey blouse. It's like super comfy and dressy. And then, of course, Glam Jewels, our other sponsor, which is where we broadcast from. Get to Know Them is broadcasted from my studio here in Burlington, and we go live here every Tuesday. And then, of course, we upload these videos to YouTube, and we will be announcing soon, soon, soon that we're going to have this in a podcast format as well, which we're really excited about. So stay tuned for that. This is a show where I want to introduce you to some of the most inspiring, wonderful people I know, and have them come on here and share their stories. So I hope you've enjoyed the episodes so far, and can't wait to continue on this year with you again. So Sam, our friend Sam, you know what happened today, guys? My printer decided to, you know, kick the bucket, I guess. And so now I'm going to read you Sam's bio. Wish me luck. I'm doing it from my phone with the little print, but I've got my readers on. So here we go. Sam DiPietro. He was born and raised and living and still living. He was born and raised and he still is living in Oakville. Sam runs his family business with all three of his sons. Their area of expertise is custom homes with the latest modern plumbing fixtures. These homes usually have multiple bathrooms with freestanding tubs, expansive showers, and wall hung toilets. Sam and his sons also do renovations and additions custom fit to exactly what the homeowner wants. Arriving in full uniform with boot covers and stock trucks to get the job done, Sam takes pride in his work and he has taught his sons to do the same. Sam the Plumber is a professional local plumbing company, fully insured with top of the line tools. The family element with cheesy jokes and music on the job allows for a great working environment. Sam reached out to me back in 2019, and I hadn't seen him since high school. The connection turned out to be something quite extraordinary, which we're going to share with you. Sam is a truly magical guy. You'll love his story. He's got a lot to share, and so do I. Let's bring Sam on. Sam the Plumber, are you there? Oh my gosh.
I have my safety glasses on.
I love that. You must have grown up with Electric Company or Sesame Street to make that kind of an entrance.
I thought of just making something funny. Monica, thanks for having me on your
I
show.
lo- Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have you on the show, Sam. This is so great. I've switched chairs. I'm just going to back up a little bit. I It's so funny when you take a break from something and you get back into it and it's all like a little bit discombobulated, but that's why I was saying to my husband today, I go, I'm so happy that I'm going back into the new year with Sam because whenever I'm with you, I just feel comfortable and relaxed, and that's how it's got to be, right?
I feel the same way,
Yeah.
Monica. I think we're just really down
Yeah.
to earth people, just talking about normal stuff, a couple of jokes here and there, and
Yeah.
rolling with it. I think that's always a great thing for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have a ton of questions for you. I I do want to share the story with the audience about our reconnection, but maybe what we'll do
Sure.
first is the first question I ask all of my guests is, what did little Sam want to be when he grew up? So why don't we start with that, and then we'll kind of once we get to the high school stage, then maybe we can bring in our story.
So that's awesome. All right. So high school stuff, that's a pretty long story. There's so much high school information there, but
Yeah.
We'll start off with the first thing that you're asking me a question. So, again, thanks for having me on here. I'm just a local plumber with a family business. I'm living my dream with my three sons. So, having said that, let's just go rewind back to, I don't know, 15, 16, just before I got a car and I was trying to think of what I was going to be, just kind of entering high school the first couple of years. And I knew that I didn't want to be a doctor or a lawyer. I could not stand doing essays and writing. And so I just wanted to work with my hands. I really had a lot of time to enjoy as a kid building stuff, small stuff, crappy stuff. And that's when I kind of knew that I just wanted to work with my hands for instead of going to school, high school, college, university. That was just kind of not really out there. And we're really thankful that we had back in the day these smaller schools that catered to skilled trades. I think in Oakville we had Wolf, I think it was called, and then we had the other school in Burlington, and I can't remember the name of it. I don't think it was Robert Bateman, but nonetheless, I know a
Was it
few guys that.
Nelson? Was it
No, it
Nelson
wasn't.
that
It was
had the?
near Nelson. It was on that other street there. I
Okay.
can't remember the name of it. But anyways, they got rid of them. They got rid of these schools that these kids were just working with their hands. And I know a few that went to that school and they turned out to be master builders with their hands and stuff. They have great educations. They're making more than 6 digits a year and stuff. And they were paid to go to school, to go to trade college. They paid us to go to school to learn something, which was so rewarding after you build something and build it. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I was in the tech wing the whole time. I wanted to be a mechanic. I wanted to work on cars. I wanted to fix things and stuff. And it wasn't till my grade 12 that the engines were kind of changing, and then we're getting into this electronic fuel injection, and things were changing. And teacher said that you guys are going to be going back to school every year to figure out these new cars because they're going to be so computer programmed. And I'm thinking, going back to school every year, I'm just trying to get out of
Oh,
this. Like, it's so crazy. So I looked into plumbing in 1988. I went to a place and I didn't know anything about plumbing. They took me on as a first year apprentice for $7.75 an hour. And yeah, I stuck with it and became licensed.
incredible. I never knew that you started with cars. And then,
Yeah,
yeah, that was your first love.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I left Loyola, a Catholic high school, in grade 10
Mhm.
because there was no shop, there was no automotive, there wasn't any drafting, there wasn't any
Okay.
welding, and I wanted to do all that. So I went to Blakelock, and that was pretty cool. I did a year and a half at Blakelock and
Mhm.
met some pretty cool people like yourself, just to be one of them and
Yeah.
stuff. And then, yeah, and then from Blakelock, I left from Blakelock and went to Purdue, which was an amazing school that doesn't exist today, but it was an amazing school, and everybody was friends. You didn't care about what
Right.
nationality you were, what shirt you had. It was a very cool, laid back school. So going to three high schools, I kind of know a few people in Oakville, and I'm very lucky.
Yeah, well, it was so great, Sam, because you reached out to me at like the most perfect time. It was so crazy. So you had sent me a note through Instagram and it was the sweetest note. You said, "Hey Monica, I've been following you and your business here on Instagram. I just want you to know I think you're doing such a great job. Not sure if you remember me, Sammy DiPietro from high school." And I was like, "Of course I remember you." And then I
I
went
wasn't
through your
sure.
feed and I found a picture of you and Alexandra from like back in the day when you had like the rocker, like Aerosmith hair. And I'm like, oh
We
my
were
God, like I could picture you in this hallways at school.
It's so funny. We were
It's so
15 in that
nice.
picture at Oakville Place
Yeah.
when they just got the little photo booth. It was the color photo booth that you got the four
Yeah.
pictures, and Alexandra found that little picture and pulled it out. I don't know, about 10
It's
years
the
ago or something.
sweetest
It's
picture.
pretty
I
cool.
love it so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So of course I remembered you. And then you had contacted me. And then what had happened was like the next day or the day after, I get this text from an old neighbor. So my mom in 2009 or 18, I guess it was, my mom sold the house, like my baby house, the house that, I've lived in since 1969. And so she sells the house, and we know, okay, Oakville, it's going to be a tear down, but you don't really think about it, right? And then the way that I found out was this neighbor said, "Hey, just wanted to let you know your house has been torn down." And that was maybe like 3 months after my mom had sold it. So of course, this all these emotions, I'm crying, all these memories, me and my brother, our first steps, the basement parties, the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
And I'm like,
for
oh my
sure.
God. And my husband's consoling me. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I gotta just get my mind off it. So back to Instagram. Many of us numb our feelings through Instagram, watching stuff. And you pop up. And then I was like, Sam, I'm gonna tell Sam about this teardown, and maybe it's an opportunity for him to approach the new neighbor and get like a kick-ass job. So your response to me is, Monica, you will not believe this. And because I sent you the address to the old house, and you send me, look what I'm working on right now. And it was a proposal to do the plumbing at that house. And I was like, okay, I felt this, like, my dad is in heaven looking down, and he's like, if anybody's going to work on this property, it's going to be Sam the plumber.
Nice. That was
That was,
fantastic. I remember though it's
yeah.
so vividly. I remember I grabbed a set of prints and I took a picture of the address and I said, "Is this the address?" Because I was just sent these prints 2 days before that to quote this job. And yeah, so the end story was that was your childhood home and stuff right on that street. And yeah, they tore it down. I didn't get to see it before, but we did see it
Mhm.
after. We won the job, as you know, and
Yeah.
I think that house had 6 bathrooms in that one, so it was a nice
Oh
house that they
God.
built. They sold it for a pretty penny, or they sold it to a new person that bought it. The GC built it, and yeah, just recently it sold again. So there's new people in that house just a few months ago.
Wow. And you know what they did? They changed the house number. So I
Did
don't know
they?
if there's been like, yeah, it's really weird. I took a walk by, or a drive by there the other night, and I'm like, that's strange. It's got a new house number on it. But anyway, who knows
I'm not
what
sure about
they,
the house number.
yeah.
I've done a couple of houses on that street, so I don't remember the house
Yeah.
number and stuff. But that sometimes they do that. So yeah, what a
Yeah.
fluke! I reached
I
out to
know that
you,
was
and
such
there's an
a fluke.
opportunity. Yeah,
Yeah, and you were so sweet because you're like, if you and your mom want to come, like, let me know. And I was like, no, that's okay. I just felt so good that you were on that property, you know?
yeah, that's
Once the
great.
house is gone, it's kind of, but so Sam, speaking of Instagram, okay, so I want everybody to know, everybody know, anyone who knows me, you know what I'm into. I'm into music, I'm into fashion, I'm into pop culture. The chances of me being obsessed with an Instagram page about plumbing are like slim to none. But I'm telling you, Sam, your Instagram page is one of my most favorite pages. And there are many
That's
reasons that I
awesome.
love it. Okay, first of all, when I go through your feed, and I'm not talking about stories, I'm just talking about your posts. I am
Yes,
like rocking it out from like The Fix, Saved by Zero, to Aerosmith, to Led Zeppelin. Like, it's all our music. Like, you're so good at bringing that into your posts, and you make it so fun, and it's very Gen Xy. Like, it's got like a real vibe to it. And then the other part I love is I love seeing your three sons and how you're working with them, and you're just like so on top of it. And now you've even got, sponsorship stuff happening. So I wondered if you can kind of walk us through your growth on Instagram, like how you got from, a place where most of us 50-year-olds were, where we're like, what the hell is this?
right,
To now
exactly.
you're a real leader, in that space. So tell me,
Okay.
what, yeah.
So first off, I'm going to say thank you for saying you love my plumbing page.
Mm.
It's got some pretty cool plumbing and some useless personal information about myself, and then I add some pretty cool music to it. So yes, Monica, let's talk about the music really quick. The music for both of us, we're so into music. We're so lucky that we grew up in the late 70s or mid 80s to have that kind of music and stuff. And I'm still working on my playlist. My playlist is I think it can play right now for about 2 weeks or something. And I always, oh, I don't have that song. And I keep adding it and stuff. And so our genre of music selection is pretty wide. And so I know a lot of people with these posts on Instagram, they post music that I'll call it elevator music. I don't even know if it's called that, but I'm not going to play that. I want to play something that I really like, songs that you haven't heard in a long time, like The Fix, for instance, that Saved by Zero, that was a really cool song, and just other songs like that. So the music part about it is me. That's my personal thing that I want to put a little spin on with the music. So if we talk quickly, and I'll try to talk quickly, about Instagram. I was first on Twitter, and I was there for a few years, and I got a pretty good following, and I was posting some stuff, but nobody was seeing it. I was having like 3 or 7 likes and stuff. And that was cool. I wasn't really trying to do it for likes. I was trying to do it for free advertising because of the fact we're a small business. So
Yeah.
advertising is really expensive, as you know, and stuff. And then one day my boy said to me, why don't you try Instagram? And I'm like, Instagram, what's that? Another thing. And so I tried it. I started posting some pictures, and people love their pictures. And the thing is, the reason why they were liking it is I'm so lucky to have done some projects here in Oakville and all around here, some custom homes with some new stuff. And I can drive by those homes and say, I did that with my boys. We got some great memories in there. And so I started posting some of the pictures. And as you know, with us growing up in Oakville, this little town has exploded to these houses. I mean, some of the projects that we're on, these are $2 million bungalows that people have bought for the property, and they tear them down. They're buying them for $2 million, tear them down, and building these larger homes, and that's what they're doing. So on Instagram, I started posting some pictures. Yeah, family business, me and my 3 sons and stuff, and I just posted some pictures from there and let it roll. I think it's been a few years that we've been on there, and we got a pretty good following. And this wall right here that I started, this is just a sticker wall, and these are just a few of some amazing people globally. And what I mean by amazing people is Instagram has an amazing plumbing community. I talk to guys all the time, all around the world about plumbing. I'm still learning stuff, little tricks of the trade. That's a real thing, tricks of the trade. And, and some people have mastered it. And I call them rock stars because they do it, and they do it amazing. And that's what I'm trying to teach my kids, just to do it great, do it perfect, shoot for perfect. I always tell them. So
Yes, and you know what I love too is that, you're teaching your boys that, and you're mastering your craft, and you're learning from everybody else. But if for anybody that goes on the page, like, you're also teaching us little things, like about, not putting silicone around the tube to the toilet because I saw
nice.
that like it's all these little things where now, and it's empowering too as a woman. You can, if your husband's working on the plumbing, you can stand over him and say, I wouldn't put that silicone on there if I were you.
Or clear silicone. Don't use clear silicone. There's too
Yeah.
much sheen. You turn the light on, it all looks wet. Just use translucent, or use white, or use brown, whatever color it is, but just never clear. I don't like clear. But anyways, that's a funny story.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, but really, you're empowering your audience as well, which is really great. So the stickers, I am curious about the stickers. So these stickers, are they all different plumbing companies, Sam, or they're just everybody in the industry? Like,
So thanks for asking. So first off,
yeah.
I've been trying to collect plumbing stickers from all these great plumbers around the world, and they can be young rock stars or old generals like us.
Uh-huh.
So these most of these are plumbers in here, but there's also HVAC electricians. There's also great people. There's manufacturers there that we just basically idolize. These manufacturers, they've built tools for us to make our lives easy.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And so some of these tools and some of these things, we love these brands or these people because anybody that's going to go on the sticker wall is somebody that takes pride in what they do, and they're going to do it, and they're going to do it really good. And the thing that I've noticed right now in this new world, everything is 3 times the price, And
Yeah.
the outcome is actually kind of crappy. It's not even as good as it was before. We used to get top-notch service with a third of the price. Now we're paying more, and we're getting everything kind of bruised or sloppy, and that
Mm.
kind of stuff. So, having said that, with all these people here, these are people that take pride in their work. And like I said, this is just maybe a quarter or maybe an eighth of some of these. I have more stickers. I just started this little sticker wall because it's been a little while and I've got to do something with it. And I decided to put it on this thing so I can take it everywhere I go with me, and put it in the, right now it's just in the office and stuff. And so we have that there, and it's just a good reminder of great people globally.
Right.
So
No, it's great. And yesterday I told you I was on your Instagram stories and I saw you sorting stickers. And then today when we came on here, I'm like, oh, were those the stickers that you were sorting on your Instagram? So this is my next question for you, Sam. Like, that's what they say about social media. Like everything we do is exciting to our audience. Like you really have to involve them in the behind the scenes stuff. So do you find that that stuff, like, did you sit down with those stickers and go, I got to show my people that, like, does it just come to you now? Or are your sons prompting you like, hey dad, this is cool content. Like you should be putting this on. Like how, because you're always on there. There's never a day off for you on your Instagram stories.
Thanks for saying
So,
that. There are some days where I just I'm either too busy or I just don't have the time to post it and stuff. And I try to post some stuff or some stories, and some people have actually been telling me to put it as a post instead of just a story, because as we know on Instagram, a story is gone in 24 hours, and things like
mhm,
that. So I try to find the balance, Monica. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what the balance is. I just try to post some stuff that we do that day, like I did for today. We started an addition, just a small little job, that we thought we'd fit in for this week because it's perfect timing for our other build that we just started. And
yeah,
it's a small job. They're adding 2 bathrooms on the second floor, and we've got to get it into the basement. We're going to rough it all in. It's all framed, and a couple of days on that job, and then we're going to move on to the next one. But again, I just
yeah,
post some stuff on Instagram of what we do, and then some people see it. And I think the biggest thing that really has worked out for me is basically some people look at it and go, "Wow, these are your 3 sons." Yeah, my business has 4 people, me and my 3 sons, and I'm
yeah,
so lucky to have 3 amazing sons. 2 of them are licensed, and the baby. Michael, he is a fifth-year apprentice. God willing, he should be licensed by the end of this year,
right.
when school calls for his third and final course. But I've got 3 amazing sons, and a lot of people love that family business. And even my wife, I don't even want to leave Alexandra out. We are such a family business. My wife has her own job. She's very busy. She does a lot of work, and then she does my quotes, my invoicing, and makes it look. I write it all in scratch notes, and she makes it look all super cool and sends it off. And my lovely wife works anywhere between 40 and 60 hours a week and still manages to do some work for me in the evenings to just send off some things, invoices and quotes and stuff like that. So we are a real family business. And I guess some companies have reached out and said, wow, you're really a family business. We're going to follow you. You do amazing work. And I've had some amazing opportunities. And one of the opportunities would probably be this company here. I'm going to put their hat on. Doesn't
Yeah.
work good with my headset, eh? It kind of looks like a little bit of a cone head or something. But anyway, this is Sluter glue. This is
Okay.
glue that has been around since the 60s. It's a Canadian glue company, chemical company for gluing plumbing pipes in Canada. They're a Canadian company. They liked what we did. They offered me a little sponsorship, an ambassador, if you will, for their product. We
Mhm.
made a deal on some things to post about their stuff and give back. But this company right here, I
Right.
remember using their glue when I was 8 years old, stealing it from my dad. True story, trying to make Kiss boots for the upcoming Halloween coming season. So I got styrofoam and I cut these 2 blocks and stacked them and figured my mom could mesh something on top that I could slip my foot
Yeah.
in. So I grabbed this can of Sluter glue And I go to pour it. Didn't even have the brushing can. I open it. My dad's on afternoons. I'm in the basement. I go grab his glue. It's very kind of potent. You have to open it and stand back. Anyways,
Yeah.
I poured it all on the styrofoam, and it went right through the styrofoam and ate it and sunk it out. I looked at it, go, oh my gosh. So, anyways, years later,
Yeah.
they love what we do, and they offered me a little ambassadorship for their product, and I couldn't be more humbled than that. So,
Oh
yeah,
my God. I hope
Instagram
they
is.
know. Do they know the Kiss story?
I
I hope
think
you
they
shared
do.
that with them.
We try to save a few things. They know a few stories and stuff, but I think I did put it in an email and we talked about it. But it's
That's
does
great. Did you
everybody
ever
there
make
know it?
the
Probably not.
did you ever make the Kiss boots, or is that still
They
something you got to do?
I couldn't find the
Did you
right adhesive for the two, and then I got to the part. So then I'm thinking duct tape, and that wasn't going to work. And again, I don't think I ever made those Kiss boots, but I had a goal. I had a vision to make something. At 8 years old, my
Yeah.
dad wasn't even there, and when my dad was around, he always worked afternoons. But when he was around on the weekends, I'd follow him in the backyard, the little hammer, and always kind of doing stuff. And that's where it all stemmed back to work with my hands. And I'm so glad I made this choice. I love plumbing. I love doing what we do,
I
and it's pretty
yeah.
awesome.
Right. And I'm really curious to know, Sam, how all three of your sons came along with you, because was it something that they like because they grew up seeing you do it? Was it always intriguing to them, or was it something that you sat them down and said, "Listen, I have this idea. What do you guys think?" Like how did they come on board? Because
So that's
it's crazy. It's so unusual that all
a lot
three
of
would
people have
be
said that
into
to me.
it.
They said, "You got all three of your sons. How'd you convince them to work with you?" I can't even work with my dad for more than a week or two or something. So,
Yeah.
and sometimes I kind of like, yeah, well, and then reality hits, and that's so true because, sometimes we'll butt heads and stuff, and we won't really know. But it all comes down to one quarterback and somebody running the show, and that's me. And we have to do
Mhm.
that. And I have to respect them as well. And I have to make sure that it's a great environment for them. Jokes. We always have music on. My trucks have the battery operated, nice radios and stuff. So we always have Q107 or somebody on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, my oldest son, Tyler, son number one, was about 19. And I remember calling him one evening and I said, "Hey, Tyler, so what are you doing, man? Like you're out of school. Like, what are you going to be doing now?" Excuse me. And he wasn't sure. He says, "I don't know. My arm hurts." This is a true story. He said, "My arm hurts." I
Oh.
said, "What do you mean your arm hurts?" I said, "My arm hurts. You're 19. Your arm's made out of rubber. You should be able to do that." So, joking aside, that's what I said. I thought about it for a little while and I quit my job and I started my plumbing business to take my son over and said, "You know what? Why don't you just come with me? Let's just do plumbing together. Let's try to rustle up some jobs in Oakville and just do it for 5 years. And once you become licensed, if you don't want to do it anymore, you'll be 24. You can go do something else. Just don't do it." That was
Wow.
enough for him to do that. He came and worked with me. And so that's when my whole life kind of changed. I now had to be a teacher. And not everybody's cut out to be a teacher. And I don't even think that I'm a very good job person to do a teaching job. And I'm still learning all the time too. So, anyways, I brought him over. He became licensed, and he loved it. And we started with small jobs, and we started working our way up to bigger jobs and learning as we went along. And then Trevor, my second son, he wasn't sure about coming to work with me, which was totally normal. Who'd want to go work with their dad? But I did tell him I'm a lot cooler than my dad was. We got radios, we got cool tools. I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to work with my dad because he probably wouldn't even turn the radio on. Like,
Exactly. And I do need to point out something. I read something the other day that your generation, your kids are way more into 80s music, and we were way more into our own music. We weren't into what our parents were listening to. So it just speaks to how cool once again our generation was. So of course, that would be an enticement for your middle son to be like, "Well, if I can listen to 80s music all day and work, I mean, that's pretty cool."
get paid to
Yeah,
listen to 80s music and maybe cut some pipe and glue some fittings together and drill a
yeah,
hole. Why not? I think it's a great thing. So
exactly.
Anyway, we talk more about music later because I got a little bit more about that stuff because both of us are into music. But anyway,
Yeah.
Trevor, son number two, he wanted to maybe look into being an electrician. I was thinking, wow, that's
Okay.
cool. Son number one, a plumber. Son number two, an electrician. These guys could open a business later on together and really be successful. He did it for a little while. He didn't really like it. And I enticed him and I said a couple of times, why don't you come over and come and work with me and your brother? Just do it for 5 years. I gave him the same spiel. I gave him the thing.
Yeah.
We'll turn on the music. You can do it for five years. And if you don't like it, then you can go. No problem. No questions asked. Trevor came over and he became licensed. And then finally, Michael, like I call him the baby. I shouldn't call him the baby. I shouldn't call him number three. They don't like being called, but I call them number one, number two, and number three. So anyways, Michael comes over. He's finishing school. He's 17, doesn't know what to do. And I said, hey, I gave him the same spiel. You want to come with, instead of brother, I said, do you want to come and work with your brothers, plural, and us, and, listen to some music and try it out, do it for 5 years. And if you don't want to, I said, you're 17, Michael. You could be the first one licensed at friggin' 22, 23 if you really stuck with it and stuff. So he thought about it for a little while, which was the course of the summer. Grade 12's done. He's going to see his friends and everybody's going to start going their own way in September. And then he came. And here we are today. He's a fifth-year apprentice. The other two are licensed. They're on the job right now. And I said, I got to go see my wonderful friend, Monica, to do I think it's called a webcast. I don't even know. I work with my hands. I don't even know.
I don't know either. I just know it's out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I do. That's how I started my business. I just wanted to make sure my boys, I said, do it for 5 years, get a ticket in your pocket. You want to move out to Vancouver and go out west and go do something else. As long as you renew that little sticker every year, you can always be a plumber. You can do it anywhere in the world. Just make sure you do that. I just wanted to make sure that they'd have something. And I know that my boys, the apple doesn't fall far from this tree. These guys don't want to be doing essays as much as I want to be doing essays or going to school for university for 10 years. That's just not for us. And we're really happy that other people can do that for us to help us. And we're going to take care of the plumbing part of it.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, Sam, you are so family focused, and we see that on your feed and from what you're sharing. Now, there is something you shared with me about your mom that I was hoping you could talk to the audience about, which I just think is amazing what you and your sister do for your mom. Do you mind sharing that?
No, not at all. No
Yeah.
problem. So first off, my mom, who recently turned 93, and is in the same house that we grew up in. She still has her wits about her, and she still wants to live in her house and stuff. And I'm so fortunate that she's so healthy in the way that with her mind and her spirit, that is pretty good. That she wants to stay in her home. Who wants to go to a retirement home? I couldn't imagine that being very appealing to somebody who spent her whole life in a certain home the way she's got it. And so my mom's 93, and I have two sisters and a brother. So myself and my three siblings, we take turns to go spend some time with mom. So we do a 1 week rotation, basically Monday to Monday. And we stop in during the day to see her. All of us do. My brother's in Mississauga, but us three are in Oakville. So we always drive by the house and stop in to see her and stuff. And then we do a rotation of 1 week, and we go over there. I usually go there about 7:30 at night. I hang out with my mom and say, hey, Ma, how's it going? And talk. And we watch TV. That TV is the Italian channel, and it's cranked as loud as it can be. There's no rewind. And I'm like, what'd you say? I can't hear you. So great times with my mom. And then I'll go to sleep, and I'll just get up to go to work and come back home and change and stuff like that. But that's what we do for my mom. We're pretty lucky.
Yeah, well, your mom is very lucky. I just love that you do like the whole sleepover thing and make sure she's okay, that she can still enjoy her home and be there where she's most comfortable,
It's so awesome. It
really
works
nice.
out perfect. It's an old family home. It's a rear raised bungalow, I guess it's called, or whatever. So there's a room in the middle that my mom sleeps in, and there's two rooms on the end. And so it's so funny. My one sister and I love this bed, and my brother and my other sister love this bed. So it's so cool. So whoever stays that week, if I go there, I sleep in this bed for the week. My other brother, my brother starts after, and he goes into this one. Well, the sheets are all washed and stuff when he's sleeping in this one. So then the sheets are washed in this bedroom for my sister, who's going to be coming the week after my brother. So
Yeah.
long story
That's
short,
great.
it's a perfect setup. My mom's pretty happy for the most part, and to see us, and she just doesn't want to sleep alone at
Yeah.
night. But honestly, sometimes during the day, sometimes she says, what are you guys doing here? Don't you guys got something to do? She doesn't mind a little bit of her own privacy too during the day, to sit there on the couch and probably do the rosary
Yeah.
for 2 hours or something. I don't know, whatever.
So cute. Oh my God. And I didn't know. I thought you had one sister. I didn't realize so you have one brother, two sisters?
So I have two
Is that
sisters, one brother, and myself. I'm the baby of the
okay?
family. I'm the
You
baby of the
are. Oh,
family. So yeah, and I was the only one born here. So my two sisters and my brother were born in Italy. The reason why my dad came to Oakville was to come and find my mom's sister, my aunt, who came to Oakville 2 years before that. And they're writing back, hey, come to Oakville. There's lots of work here. There's lots of work here. So my dad left his house, put about $2,000 in his pocket, he told me, and he took his two daughters and his one son to Canada. And then I guess times were good. My dad's got 2, 3 jobs. Things are going real good. Oh, mom's pregnant. And guess who is here? Sammy is born. I was the
nice.
surprise, and I was born in Canada in
I
68.
love it. That's another thing you and I have in common. We're both the first Canadians in our family.
Yeah, that's right. That's
That's
so cool.
cool.
Hardworking
Yeah.
parents, a real
Hmm.
mindset of let's not waste anything. Don't throw that
Yeah.
food out and stuff, and we're pretty lucky to have that for an upbringing with that mindset.
We,
Now, they were so into working and stuff that I don't know, my upbringing, I don't know about yours. I was the baby, so my sisters and my brother have carved a nice path through our life that when I grew up, I didn't even have to really answer to anybody. We just go out. We're gone for 10 hours. There's no phone, and they wouldn't come back saying, are you worried? Call me when you get there and stuff like I do with my kids. Back then it was just like, yeah, just go out. Make sure you come home by about 9 o'clock or something.
oh yeah, it
Very
was so
relaxed.
different. Yeah, I had
Yeah,
that too. And my dad, like, he'd get genuinely so excited to hear about like what bar we went to or what party
right.
we went to. And I think I had a curfew when I was like 14, 15, but I don't remember after that. They just trusted me, and
I
I did
know.
some stupid things, but yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
think we all did those stupid
So,
things to learn from them, and then we try to get our kids to learn from them. I've told my kids lots of
yeah,
stories that are they're like, wow. And
yeah.
then I haven't told my kids some stories that they probably, I don't want to tell them about.
I don't want it to,
No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's so fun. I remember my dad sharing like crazy stories with us about him and his buddies in Germany. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, but it was cool because then like I could talk to him. It opened up a conversation where I could talk to
100%.
him about anything. And I knew he wasn't going to get mad because he did crazy things himself and we
Right.
could talk about it. Yeah. And I'm not talking like total, reasonably
Get
crazy.
drunk and stay out till 2 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah,
stumble home. That kind of
exactly.
story. You're not going to go flip cars or nothing. I mean,
No,
we're
no,
talking
no.
about
Yeah.
stories that are kind of things that we probably wouldn't do to this day. Like
Yeah, like siphoning their wine in the basement and pouring it into we used to pour the wine into Clearasil bottles because the white wine looked like Clearasil and then put that in our bags when we go into the dances in Blakelock. And they'd
nice.
never know. They'd be like, "Oh, they brought their pimple cream," and we'd be drinking wine in the
Right.
or their pimple astringent or whatever. Yeah.
Right. I mean, those stories there are just really classic and stuff. And again, those are things we probably wouldn't do
Yeah.
to this day. If our kids did it, we'd probably say, hey, what's the matter with you? What are you drinking out of a Clearasil bottle for? What the heck? I wouldn't have done that when I was that age. But Another thing that just
Yeah.
reminds me, and I'll just be really quick about it. My
Yeah.
parents would go see my aunt, which was a 2 kilometer drive. And back in the day,
Okay.
everybody had to wear seatbelts, but the families, I mean, my parents had 4 kids. And so to put everybody, 6 people to put their seatbelts on, they didn't. Everybody's kind of on top of each other in the car and 2 bench seats in it. And we drive over there. And so the Saturday night would basically consist of going to my aunt and uncle's. They would sit at the table. I would play with my cousins and we'd watch hockey. They'd have a few drinks. And then, 11, 12 o'clock, it's time to go home. And every time they would leave, whether it was my uncle leaving or my dad leaving from his place on the Saturday, they'd get on the road and it was just like a thing. They'd lean on the horn, dun, 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 and my uncle's flicking on and off the light. And I thought, yeah, and we're all waving. Okay, it was a great time. Okay, bye. And, my dad's probably got like 3-4 drinks in him. He probably shouldn't be driving or whatever. But that was the thing
Yeah.
back then, to lean on the horn. And I'm thinking, I don't know what those neighbors thought, but that was the way of
Yeah.
life. It was all
It
good.
was so different. That's so fun. Now, did your parents speak English, or did
So
they,
that's a really good question.
what
So my
happened with
mom,
them?
yeah, so my dad worked, so he spoke broken English is what I'd like to call it. He
Yeah.
spoke broken English, and my mom, she never really worked. So she was a stay-at-home mom with 4 kids, making a meal every day, lunch and dinner and stuff. So she didn't really learn the English language too well. She never got a driver's license. She never did anything, and I don't even know how she did it. But again, the way of the our generations before us thought was to be content. I've had a nice meal. I'm going to sit on the couch, watch some TV, and then I'm going to go to sleep, kind of thing. So, yeah. And then when my dad retired, like he kept working. I remember he telling me the story. He was 67 and his boss said, Nick, can you just stop coming into work? Go enjoy your retirement. Just stay home and just stay there. So after that, not going into work, his English kind of started to really forget and stuff. And yeah, and so that's where it was left off. And he lived till my
Interesting.
dad lived till 91, and that was a few years ago. He passed away.
Amazing. Yeah. Wow. I was listening to Anthony Hopkins the other day. He does
Mm,
like some really great life lessons. And one thing that he said, because I don't know if you feel this way, but people ask like, are you what are your retirement plans? And I'm always like, I cannot imagine not working. And much like you, Sam, I like to work with my hands. I did not do university. I did like botch job at college. Like I was not an academic kind of a kid, right? And anyway, Anthony Hopkins was saying, if you're blessed enough in this life to find work that you love, never stop working. It's okay
right.
to work for your whole life. And we can do that for you too. You have the perfect setup. You have your sons. You can make it what you want. You can either work really hard or take it back a notch, or, it's such a blessing because work, it's such a joyful experience when you love what you do. Like I just feel so lucky every day. It's
Absolutely. It's so important to love what you do, to get up in the morning. My eyes will wake up usually before my alarm clock goes off, and I'm okay. And I'm thinking I'm going to work because I love doing plumbing. I love going into these houses and I love cranking the tunes with my boys, a few cheesy jokes, and we do some plumbing and stuff. We do the best that we can. I love my job. And I think if you it might sound so cliche to say this, but if you have a passion for something you do, it's going to show itself. You don't have to BS anybody and say, oh, I really like plumbing, but you don't really like it. If you have a passion for something and you love to do it, you're going to do it. And this whole thing of stopping at 65, you're not going to stop at 65. My mom, I mean, my mom is in great shape. She's 93. I got a video of last winter, me with the snowblower, and there she is shoveling snow. I said, Mom, get out of the way. Let me just use the snowblower. What are you shoveling for? Because she doesn't want to sit inside and stuff. So I think we're really fortunate
oh,
now that we're living longer with some, good foods. But that's a whole other topic of what foods you're going to eat and exercise that you could live a long life. And my parents are something that shows for that, being in their 90s.
Yeah, and the quality of life is good, which is the most important. That your mom, I just love that your mom is like, she's got that much vitality in her that she's like, I'm going out there. I'm going to put my coat, my hat, my scarf on, and I'm going to get out there with my son, and the wind's gusting, and I'm 93 and I don't care. And here I'm going,
Yeah.
shoveling.
And she's
Like,
more
that's
flexible
so
than me.
awesome.
She's more flexible than me, and she can do that. And I'm sitting here, man, I'm only 54. I just got a new hip. And so, that was another surgery.
Yeah.
So, and this is my second hip. So,
Yeah.
and my mom's never had a replacement hip and stuff. So my osteoarthritis really sucks that I had a second hip and stuff. But, I joke around and I say, well, we got the technology. We can rebuild them. I'm going to be the
Yes.
$600 man now.
You're a $600 million man.
Yeah, you're too kind. That's so funny.
That's so Sam, I have an audience question for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yes, and the question comes from a lovely woman, Carolyn Maxwell Baker, who also went to Blakelock High School, and I had her on my show a couple of weeks ago.
I think I
And
remember the name rings a
yeah,
bell, but yeah, that's great.
she's one.
Okay.
Yeah, so her question to you is she had contacted her plumber a little while ago to come and do some work. She lives in an older home, and he said, "Sorry, Carolyn, I can't help you out. I'm a clean plumber now. I'm not a regular plumber anymore." So she wanted me to ask you, what is the difference between a clean plumber and a regular plumber? Does it have something to do with they only work on new builds, or
Okay, so
is
great. So I'm just going to that question is a very good question, and I'm going to say I have no idea what a clean plumber is. This is the first time I've ever heard that before, but the only way I can elaborate in that, just like mechanics, some mechanics will work on a gasoline engine, and then you have a diesel mechanic, and then you have mechanics that only do transmissions. Well, that gasoline engine mechanic would have a pretty tough time to do the transmission because he's not a transmission specialist. Well, the same thing that I'm going to say with plumbing. There's residential, there's commercial, then there's contracting, and then there's service work. So we're more of a contracting company. We have, I don't even want to say how many, but we have a lot of work coming up, and people have secured us from months ago. I have signed contracts to build their homes, and big or small, we have those. So we're doing some of that work, whereas some other people might just not do residential custom homes. They may just do more of an aspect of service. They snake drains and stuff, which we need everybody's services to be able to do that. Do I have a bunch of snakes and stuff on my truck to go do service work, and my truck's all stinky and stuff? Nope. My truck is real nice. You can take your shoes off and go in my truck, and I got some really nice tools and shelves and stuff like that. But I have friends in the business that I can call and stuff and send them over and say, Monica needs her sinks snaked. Can you get there this afternoon? Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't, and we try to
right?
just roll with it. We try to cater everybody. And then the last thing I was going to say, it depends on the business. We're a small business, 2 trucks. So we need a little bit of notice of what we can do, and we can take on some emergency work, and we do. But we're not one of these companies that have 10 trucks. And I know some of these companies, and they're great at what they do. And I've referred people to them. They have 10 trucks. You can call them at 10 o'clock in the morning, and they'll have somebody there at 2 o'clock because they're a larger company. Now, who you're going to get, you'll just have to see who's available. With me, with the smaller business, you're going to get a DiPietro. It's going to be one of us 4 are coming. So people
Yeah.
want the small business, but what they want as well is that no notice service, which is impossible. If I have a contract to build your house, I'm going to stick with your schedule. Your schedule is my schedule. And these smaller jobs, like a toilet install or a dishwasher, my customers are pretty good. If they can wait, they can wait. If there's water gushing out of a wall, I'm going to go over there and cut it and cap it and just contain it, But
Yeah.
I think that's what he maybe referenced between a clean plumber and a service plumber or something. But I've never heard that term,
Okay.
so that's the best I can say that.
Interesting. That's a great answer. So, Sam, because we're starting a new year, I was so inspired by your post with your New Year's resolutions.
Oh,
So I just wanted to read those out because they're
hmm,
really awesome.
nice.
And then maybe we can talk about the new year and okay, here we go. So it was so great. You had a little gift that said New Year, new goals, and you were holding on to your 2023 calendar, which is not a phone, it's a writing in calendar. I love the sticker. So you posted day one. So this was January 1st when you posted it. New business goals, setting the bar higher, walking away from time wasters, helping others, making more money. Family has always been and will continue to be first, which is so
Absolutely.
cool. Yeah, I thought that was really, really great.
Absolutely. If
So, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, can I just elaborate on that?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just going to
yeah,
be,
please.
I'll be really quick because I think you and I can sit here for probably 2 hours and talk up a storm about so many stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
just kind of a new outlook for this small business that I have. I've encountered a lot of time wasters, and we'll leave it at that. People who just kind of, they don't want to get in reality. They want the Mercedes Benz, but when the guy comes to fix it, you can't tell the technician how to fix the car. You're not going to tell him how to do the plumbing. I don't want to say that I know everything. I learn a lot from a lot of these great people globally, that we all talk and we try to learn stuff. And I think we always learn as a human, that every day is a learning experience and stuff. So I just want to get to the part where sometimes I got just mixed up in like time wasters. These guys just want to haggle, or they just want to quote to compare something. But the fact of the matter is, they got to compare an apple to an apple. And most people don't. They just go to the bottom, they look at the price of the quote, and they go, holy mackerel, this guy's $2,000-$3,000 than this other guy. But you know what they're doing? They're comparing an apple to a banana. And I don't mean to say it like that, but I'm just saying, this is what we bring to the table, is what I feel that we bring. This is the price of how much to do it. Like I said, your schedule to build it is going to be your schedule to build that and stuff. And our quotes are also based on 4 pages. They're very long, and I'm giving you a detail of everything I'm doing. I've had people compare their quote to a guy who puts 2 paragraphs, and I'm going to do plumbing in your house. Okay, he's going to hit you up with so much extras that, that 2 grand that he's less. The people just don't see that and stuff. I think some do, some don't. And so my new vision is, I'm just going to, I already know what we can do. And if I can sell it, then I'll, by telling them, if they believe me, I'll show them. And if they don't, that's fine. I'm just going to go the other way. Life is too
yeah,
short. And
it
so,
is. And I love this because it's such a good life lesson. And for anyone who's listening that's an entrepreneur or you're just starting in business, like this is one of the things I think that we all learn as we go along. We all have our time wasters in our business, and we all have those people who are like, let me help you. It'll be good exposure. But really, I mean, that's not what we need. We need people who believe in us, who want to buy our service or buy our product. And it's okay. Like, I think it's a lesson that we learn. And look at us, like, we've both been in business for over 20 years and we're still learning, right? Because you want to please everybody and you do want to be everything to everyone. But you do get to a point where you're like, I know what my customer looks like and
right.
you're not fitting. So and it's good. It opens a door for them to something that they need that isn't you, and it opens a door for you to more people that are more like you and, will respect your business model. Like,
Absolutely. And you
yeah.
can only tell people as much for them to take your word for it. I find people really, the best learners, we'll call them, out there, is when they pay
Mhm.
out their wallet. When they pay out their wallet, they have learned a lesson, and they're probably not going to do that the second time. Now, if they hired somebody that wasn't as great and they got away with it, they're going to do it again because they figured they saved a little bit of money. But the bottom line is if you want a fridge from, say, Mealy, and it's 10,000, you're not going to go to them and say, you know what, I'm going to give you 8 grand for that fridge. You know, you're not going to say that. Your price is your
Okay.
price.
You just reminded me of remember, the Sebastian Maniscalco stand up where he's talking,
Oh,
you know
Sebastian.
him, right? Yeah,
I do, and I
he's
heard he just had another show that just came out. I got to watch it.
yeah, where he's talking about his dad going, how much for the fridge? I'll pay you cash. And he's like, Dad, you can't do deals at the Home Depot on a refrigerator. Like,
I know it's so funny, but yeah, and that's the bottom
yeah,
line. You know, is you try to do what you can. Those time
yeah,
wasters show up in a beautiful tuxedo, and they're talking to you. They're not. You can't see it. Explain
yeah,
yourself, do the best you can, and show them. And if it doesn't work out, let's just move on and carry on and
yeah,
do the best that you can. So I think
exactly.
that's the goal for everything. And and again, the goal with I don't want to keep talking about all these great people on the wall, but there's some really great people out there. I'm going to grab this hat and put this on. This is Bob from Baker Plumbing out in Calgary. He's a rock star. He's a third generation plumbing crew out there. I've learned he's so talented at what he does, residential, commercial, and stuff. And you look at some of that stuff, and you're like, wow, he's a really good guy and stuff, and he knows what
Yeah.
he's doing. And this guy right here, Gasman God, his name is Andy from the UK. He's close to London, and we talk. We've never met. We've DM'd each other so many times over the years and stuff, and it's great. Like, he has a pretty close spot for me in the social media kind of world and stuff. I look at what he does. He looks at what I do. He thinks what I do is really great. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It is really great. Meanwhile, it's just plumbing and stuff. And I think what he does is amazing. And he's, just small stuff like that. These people out there just kind of really kind of make you be who you are today, and you kind of move on from it, from that whole mealy fridge and try to sell it. You're going to try to do it. And in the last little while, there's been a lot of people that have started a business and kind of come in and then, kind of trying to get in on this piece of the pie. But
Mhm.
the fact of the matter is, you need a little bit of experience from this. And my boys are really good workers. They can probably, I'll admit it, they can probably work a little faster. They're a little more agile to get under the sinks and stuff. Whereas I'm slowing down a little bit. I got some
Yeah.
older joints. I got some mechanical joints. But the fact is you and I, we've earned our stripes. We
Yeah.
have what we've done. We don't want to look down on anybody. Want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But when it doesn't work that way, just turn around, just go the other way. I don't
Yeah.
care. You don't want to buy my fridge? Keep walking. I don't care. Go.
Yeah, exactly. And I really love this community that you have, and I think it's so cool that, you're finding inspiration from people that are in your industry, and you're talking back and forth, because it all goes back to that whole abundance mentality, that there's room enough for everybody, right? There's no reason to think about scarcity or any of that. Who's on the hat now?
So this
That
is OS&B, Oakville Stamping and Bending, right from the town
okay.
where we were born in. This
Yeah.
company is so great. I've been using their products for so many years and stuff, and they're a local company, and they do amazing work, and that's who makes us today. And so what do?
Wow.
They give us a hat, or they give us a shirt or a sticker. It's just a
Yeah.
little recognition, just to say thanks and stuff. And I think that really
Right.
goes a long way for somebody that you really I don't want to say idolize, but somebody that you really like.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I also saw you had some cool looking boots on your Instagram that
They,
you were,
they
who's that?
so it was that the other day.
Yeah, they're like brown boots. Oh, I
Oh,
can't remember.
so I wanted to save them for the end. I thought you were talking about
Okay.
my little Peter Pan boots that my wife got me years ago that I love still to this day. I call them Peter Pan boots, but they're not Peter Pan boots. They're really nice. But anyways, another sponsorship that we have is probably one of our larger ones, and that's with Royer Boots. They're a Canadian family business that makes work boots. And
Oh,
yes, I'm part of their community, but I found their boots years ago. I stepped in them. They're ultra lightweight. They feel like you're walking on a cloud. They're amazing boots. We started wearing them as a family. Everybody had their boots, and I posted some pictures and I said, guys, I want to see some really good boots. Check out these guys. They're Canadian, based in Montreal, putting nothing but the best quality into these boots. And they saw we were a family business. They wanted to send us some boots and stuff, and we absolutely accepted that. And so we have been rocking their boots for a couple of years now and stuff. And I just posted some the first pair of boots that came in, which were the Revolt -40 boots for Canadian winters. It feels like you're walking on a
Nice.
cloud, but you're completely protected. So amazing boots for people.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I love how this is just, and it's all through kindness and just recognizing people for what they do, and it comes back to you. So
Yeah, for
great.
sure. Just recognizing everything. I've pointed to my wall, but
Yeah.
now I'm going to point to your back wall. Your roller
Oh,
skates over there are so cool. And
oh yeah,
then
over here.
and on that side, the roller skates, and then the
Yeah.
light bright. That is
The
so
light bright.
cool.
Yes, so my husband got me the light bright for Christmas, best gift. Now,
That's so
I
awesome.
I think the light has gone out on it. So way back when we had light bright, as you know, it plugged into a wall. It had the paper with the bulb was hot, it was a fire hazard.
It was
But now the
okay.
modern light bright, we need to find an old fire hazard one because these they have like a shutdown after a few minutes so it doesn't get overheated or whatever.
Right.
So I'm
I
like,
remember.
why is it turning off? But yeah, he actually I was playing around with it over the holidays and then last night he made me it actually says GT2T for get to know them. So,
Oh, that's
but
awesome.
yeah.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you know. You
So
can
it's so
see
nice.
the GZ, so you probably can't see the stuff under there, but
Yeah.
that's so awesome. And having stuff like that is really amazing and stuff too. So I'm gonna do
Yeah.
one last plug, and I don't mind. I don't mean to do plugs for other people. I never even asked you, but the last plug I'm
Oh,
gonna
go
do is
for it.
another sticker here. This is my son who started Plumber's World. And so I'm pretty proud of him for doing that. And it's just a Instagram account that's plumbers.world. And it's all basically he reposts, again, amazing global plumbers that do some amazing work. And he has an account on Instagram and you can scroll through it and you can see some pretty amazing stuff on there. So I'm pretty proud of my son Tyler for starting that account. I can't remember if he started it before mine or at the same time, or maybe it was just after I started mine. Maybe he told me a little bit about it and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
anyways, I can't remember how many he's got, but he has a few more followers than me. So I'm going to work on that and try to catch up.
Oh, that's great. Well, you know what? All of this, it's such a good lesson for small businesses to really like just remember how important community is, and to recognize those around you that are in your industry and get involved and partner with them and because that's how we all grow, right? Word of mouth is not what it used to be. This is the new world that we're in now and it's wonderful. We have a further reach than maybe, we would have had 20 or 30 years ago. And it's
Absolutely.
just figuring out how to do it and how to navigate. And you're a great example of that, Sam.
Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah.
um, I'm going to let you know a little secret.
Yes,
I'm not
please.
perfect and there's room for improvement. There's definitely room for improvement. And you know what? I make mistakes just like everybody else. Whether I had a brain fart and I wasn't thinking or I didn't plan ahead and stuff, like everybody makes mistakes. And that's why we kind of test on our jobs and we double test because we want to make sure. Now, if there's something that we missed, we're going to be there on the day of. If you make a mistake, it's how you go about it to fix it. You don't make a mistake and say, I'll be there in a week or two. I'm busy right now. How is that going to go off?
Yeah.
You're going to
Yeah.
say, I'm going to come there right after dinner, and or before dinner or whatever you're going to do on the day of or the next day. You're going to fix what
Yeah.
you got to do. And I found that I've made a couple of kind of silly mistakes and stuff. And people love that. They love that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just great to just be honest, just be happy, and having
Yeah.
a little bit of passion because of something that you like to do. Everything comes easy, and it's just like the magnet thing. If you're going to consume yourself with hatred or something, just go in a happy way, in a loving way, and it's like a magnet. Love and happiness will come to you. That's
Yes.
how it kind of happens. It doesn't happen all the time, but at least it comes a little bit, and you try to be thankful for what you have, and that's I try to do that every day. So
Yeah, I love that, Sam. Oh my God, you're like I'm telling you, I knew it. I'm like, Sam is the best guest to kick off the year with. So thank you for all your time today. I
thanks,
so
Monica. Thanks for
appreciate it.
saying
It
that.
goes, It goes way too fast, hey? The
Yeah,
time
it does. And
on
if
here.
you ever
Yeah.
need to do a repeat person down the road, or if somebody bails, you can let
You're
me
in?
know. We can talk about plumbing or whatever. You can pick a topic. I won't even study it, and
Perfect.
I'll just talk about it and stuff. And and I'm going to say it again. I'm very humbled that you picked me. Pretty cool to start off the year with Sam the Plumber.
Yeah, my.
samtheplumber.ca. That's our website and stuff. But my I haven't uploaded a fresh picture on my website in honestly about 5 or 6 years. My Instagram is more to date with more real pictures than my website, which is just another thing. When I got some time, I'll go do
Yeah.
that. But right now I've got a few other
Yeah.
things to do, and being on your
You
show
know,
is very thankful. I'm very thankful for that.
oh, I'm so glad. Now, I have to ask you one thing, and I'm trying to remember how the joke goes, but there was a little cartoon sketch, and it was part of the electric company, which you watched for sure.
Yes,
And it
absolutely.
was a guy, it was a plumber coming knocking on the door, and he knocked on the door and he heard, "Who is it?" And he hears, "Who is it?" And he goes, "It's the plumber. I've come to fix the sink." And then again, "Who is it?" "It's the plumber. I've come to fix the sink." Anyway, it goes on and on and on. And the plumber is getting more and more discouraged because this person just keeps asking, "Who is it?" and not answering the door. And it's hot. And I think he ends up passing out in front of the house. And all of a sudden, a woman opens the door and she's standing beside her parrot. And she says to the parrot, "Who was it?" And he goes, "It was the plumber. He came to fix the sink." And I think the plumber's like, "That's so stupid. I have to find."
It's so
But we
funny.
it wasn't like
That's
a joke in our family. We'd always say, "Who is it?" And someone would say, "It's the plumber. I've come to fix the sink."
I love it, man. And you know what the best part about that? It's just a simple joke. There's nothing that you've got to get out the calculator to figure out or kind of thing.
Yes.
It's just a simple joke and it resonates really good. And that's the
Yeah.
first thing I was thinking was kept saying it. It must be a parrot repeating
Yeah.
something on the other side of the door. So that's always funny.
See, you probably maybe when I show it to you, you'll be like, "Oh, I remember that one."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Sam, you're so awesome. I'm going to put you in the virtual green room and say goodbye to the folks, but thank you again so much. And all the best to Alexandra and the boys. And oh, and you know what? We just got, oh, just before I say goodbye to you, Rich Hutchison is chiming in. Do you remember Rich from
Rich
Blakelock?
Hutchinson?
Yeah,
Oh my
he's saying,
gosh. Of course I
yeah,
do.
yeah, he's
That's
saying, "Hi,
so
Sam."
awesome.
Yeah. Hi, Sam and Monica. Sam, I remember you coming to Blakelock with Anthony and Errol. Okay,
Yeah.
I have something. And speeding around Glen Abbey. Haha, glad to see you have done well. I will try to check out your IG. Great show, Monica. Oh, thanks, Rich. That's
Oh
so great.
my
And you know
gosh.
what's so funny? I forgot all about Errol until you posted something with him, like you guys had got together recently, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I
Karaoke or
remember that guy
we
from
did a
high school."
boys
Yeah,
we did our first.
karaoke.
Yeah, it was probably a karaoke,
Yes.
and then we've done a few boys. We have an annual boys long weekend, we call it. There's 10 of us from Oakville. We all met when we were
Love
15,
it.
and we take off for a weekend and we tell the same stories over and over again, and we still laugh with tears in our eyes and how stupid some of us were of doing some of these
Oh,
things. But anyways, that's so nice of Rich to come on and remember us and
yeah.
stuff like that. And yeah, that thing
Yeah.
about terrorizing around and stuff like that. We'll save that maybe for another show. How I
Yeah,
was named
donuts.
the Glen Abbey terrorist. We'll leave it at that. I'm the Glen Abbey terrorist. Are you kidding me? I was calling people a terrorist back in 1984 or 5, I think it was. It was
Oh
so
my God.
crazy. My 1970 Le Mans kind of GTO was very loud at the speed limit. So some people thought I
Oh,
was speeding and yeah, so I got put in the newspaper. So with that day I got to Blakelock, the whole school knew about it. And I went there because I found out about it on the weekend. And then all of a sudden I was labeled that they had nothing to print. It was this little magazine that just, or this new newspaper that came out. But, anyways, it sounds pretty bad. And I'm only talking about it because it isn't that bad. But yes, I was labeled the Glen Abbey Terrace. Thanks, Rich, for bringing that up and
yes.
telling everybody. I almost forgot about that story, but we can save that for another day.
Yes, that'll be the part two. We'll start off with that.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks again for having me, Monica.
Thank you,
You're
Sam.
super awesome.
Oh, so are you. Okay, we'll
Thank
talk
you.
soon. Okay. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I just love Sam. He's amazing, and be sure to check out his IG. Like I said, like what would my interest in plumbing be? Nothing, but I love his page. I'm always inspired. Makes me feel great. It's a page that I go to for inspiration. So make sure you do the same thing. Check out Sam the Plumber, and if you want to do some shopping today, please head on over to brendabadome.com, grab yourself some nice threads for the winter, and use the coupon code get to know them because you're going to get 22% off of your order. And go over to glamjewels.com, check out our showroom online, and grab yourself some accessories to go with Brenda's clothes. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you back here next week, and keep on showing the world your sparkle. Bye for now.